Thank you. Good evening, everybody. Sharon, if you don't mind, if you could put up the slides, I'd definitely appreciate it. Okay, we can go to the next page. And what I will do tonight is I'll go through all the slides and then I'll talk about some of the crimes, some of the case closures, and some of the frustration on our part with law enforcement. Um, so the slide that you're currently looking at is just an overview of the crimes for the month of April in the city of College Park. We had one commercial robbery, one residential robbery, one citizen robbery, four assaults, nine other thefts, six theft from autos, and nine auto thefts. Next slide, please. This slide is just an overview of the three robberies that we had in the city, just basically showing you where they occurred. This slide just indicates the four assaults that were reported to us and the locations. You notice most of them occur right on the Baltimore Avenue corridor. We had no burglaries in the month of April. These are the slide indicating where we had our theft from autos and our other thefts throughout the city. Hmm. You can go to the next slide. The next slide will indicate where we had the nine theft from autos, or I'm sorry, the nine stolen vehicles, I should say. This is just a heat mapping, just indicating the noise complaints throughout the city for the month of April. Just a our heat mapping indicating the quality of life issues or incidents that we had in the city. And I think why everybody's looking at this, I think if you look from month to month, a lot of these dots will always be in basically the same areas. Next slide, please. Just a review of all the traffic stops and the field interviews that were conducted in the city. There was a total of 20 field interviews conducted in the month of April. And as you can see, there's a lot of activity in the Hollywood area and along down the Old Town and the Baltimore corridor. Next slide. This is just our monthly comparison when you look at violent crimes and also nonviolent crimes. Next slide. I will let everybody just give a couple minutes so they can look at it for themselves. Just our crime stats for the month of April, but you can compare them to the uh, last 4 months, basically the first quarter. All right, and what I'll do is I'm going to talk about some of the crimes and then I'll open it up for any questions and discussions. So we had our first homicide in the city this year. The homicide actually occurred at the 9,000 block of 50th Place. And I think a lot of people saw this on the news in which the victim was dropped off at White Oak Hospital, Montgomery County. Montgomery County took the lead on the investigation, and it was determined that the homicide actually occurred at the residence on 50th Place. They executed a court order search and seizure warrant, and they arrested the individual that was involved in the incident. I believe this is going to be domestic related, but a lot of good work by our investigators. They were able to use the city camera system along with the speed cameras. We got a lot of good information, some video. So that incident was closed with an arrest. So we had a citizen armed robbery in the 5,000 block of Berwyn Road, and that occurred on April 6th at 16:30 hours. The victim was exiting his vehicle. The suspects stopped their vehicle near him. The suspects exited their vehicle. They all had weapons. They had handguns, and they demanded the victim's property. He complied, and the suspects fled the scene. So we were able to identify one of the suspects. He's part of a crew that's been hammering us probably for close to 2 years now. We did make an arrest. He's 17 years old. We call them the Bullseye Crew because normally what they do is they steal credit cards from the victims and they go to a Target and they buy gift cards. All right. It's a young crew. They're armed. And like I said, this has been going on for about 2 years. We identify a lot of them and we made a lot of arrests. So this individual was arrested for this incident. We had a commercial robbery in the 7300 block of Baltimore Avenue. This is basically a shoplifting incident in which it turned into a robbery. So once the suspect used his force as he was leaving against the victim, it goes from a theft to a robbery, and so it's unarmed. We're still in the process of trying to identify the shoplifter. We also had which is kind of unusual, we also had a residential armed robbery in the 9800 block of 47th Place. The victim was entering his home and the suspect's vehicle stopped in front of it. The suspects exited the vehicle, displayed weapons. They brought the victim back inside to his house. They demanded the victim's property. The victim complied, and the suspects fled the scene. This is currently being still investigated. I will just say this, just a lot of times residential robberies are usually there's other motives involved with the criminal element. So I'm not saying that the victim is a criminal, but we got to look at all possibilities. And also, I just want to talk about two assaults that we had at the contract officers did a real good job on. The suspect went into the 7-Eleven in the 7200 block of Baltimore Avenue and for unknown reasons attacked the employee. The employee was attacked. He was struck in the face. He had to be transported to the hospital to get treated. The suspect then left there, went to the Playa Bowls, which is in the 4500 block of College Avenue, and basically attacked the employee there. That victim, which was store employee, his injuries were more severe than the one at the 7-Eleven. He had to be transported to the hospital also. The contract officers were able to find the suspect a couple blocks away, and they were able to make apprehension. I think it's going to be that the suspect was suffering from some type of mental illness, but the injuries are somewhat severe. So he was charged with second-degree assault on both of the victims. And just something just in the we had a vehicle spinning tires in the 7200 block of Baltimore Avenue. Then they went down to Calvert Road and did the same thing towards the Metro. It turned out to be two football players. Um, so we're gonna submit a student referral regarding that. But that was good work by the contract officer because we get a lot of complaints down there, people spinning tires. So I think that's really it. I'll open up for any discussions or questions, and I'll do my best to try to answer them. We don't have no residents, citizens on the line?
Not at the time.
Okay.
Yeah, I have a question, if I may.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Thank you. ADC Clarity, thank you for the stats, and please give thanks to our contract officers. Looks like they were involved in quite a few incidents, and they took care of those incidents. I appreciate their help. I have two questions. Actually, one of them we discussed, I believe, not last month, but a month before. I think the suggestion came from one of the residents who participated, and there is a good suggestion if we could have this statistics, crime statistics, over yearly period, year by year, so that we can see the changes, if you recall that. So in total, not going into the details like how things actually move, changing over the years. I'm sure there are some improvements in some places, so it might be a good thing to see this data and tell our residents that what is the situation happening in College Park. Is that something do you think someone from our contact side do, or we need to ask PGPD to do it?
No, I think we use James No for our stats. I think James might be able to do that. I'll talk to him tomorrow about it. And I think we should limit it on how many years we go back.
Yeah.
Um,
Maybe, I don't know, 5 years, maybe. That's maybe
Right.
good.
I think 5 years might be too much.
Okay.
But I would ask them, like, I was thinking more of like the number of three,
Yeah.
but I'll leave it
Yeah.
up to discussion.
Yeah, the good thing is that your monthly presentation does quite a good job in summarizing the monthly data. So all you really need to do is kind of sum them up over the year and to see how things actually stand over the years.
Yeah, Mayor, I think typically as a best practice, like the recent 2 years data is always helpful. That tells the trends and how the things and the dynamics are changing in a community or in a county as a overlay district of that smaller AHJ. And I think 2 years data definitely makes more sense. I'm not sure, I think, Kaladi, if you want to check with your data person, see if that is possible. But I think even 2 years should be pretty good for us to see.
Okay, I'll speak with James and
Yeah.
he's real good at it, and I'll just get his feedback, and we'll just whatever we can do, we'll just do.
Thank you. The other question is also came from a resident. I don't think she or he attended. I can't remember who was that person. But the question was, we have a pretty robust contact police program, and it's fairly large, which is a good thing. About 15.5 FTE currently. What is the distribution of allocation of resources? Meaning, I know there's this 15 or 16 FTE, they work in 3 shifts. So on average, we could probably see 5 officers. But that probably is not happening. I mean, it's not practical, right? I mean, how do you have more officers presence during the daytime and less during night and evening time? What kind of distribution do you have overall in the city?
So as a general rule, and this is a general rule, we staff Thursday, Friday, Saturday, each shift. And when I mean each shift, we have a day work shift, an evening shift, and a late shift. So Thursday, Friday, Saturday, we staff those shifts with 3 officers each. All right. So there'd be 3 officers working the day work shift, 3 officers working the evening shift, and 3 officers working the late shift. All the other shifts, what I do is, as a general rule, is I staff it with 2 officers for each shift. Now, you have to take into consideration what we look at is if there's any events planned in College Park, whether any sporting events, any of the events that the city has at City Hall. The only exception I would say is we do add 1 extra person on Tuesday nights just for the council meeting. But what I also do is there's other nights throughout the week, I will upstaff certain days depending on the volume or crime that's occurring, right? Believe it or not, a lot of your crime occurs in the beginning of the week. Everybody thinks crime is on the weekends, but a lot of your violent crime will occur during the early part of the week. So what we do is we kind of look at historic data and we kind of follow that. So as a general rule, you could say Thursday through Saturday, 3 officers each shifts. Some nights we'll put 4 officers out there, 5 officers out there. You know, right now we're coming up to the end of the school year, so we'll probably be upstaffing some of the days, some of the nights, because we know that people are going the students are going to be having a lot of parties. You know, it's the end of the year, graduation, et cetera, et cetera. So, Mayor, did that help you out? Did
Yeah. Done. Thank you. That's very helpful.
Okay.
And certainly there's some information you probably don't want to share with the community. I think they're resource related. I mean, but the reason I'm asking, because oftentimes our residents, they hesitate to report a crime even though it's a small crime, and we always encourage them to report it, because what you're saying, that really validates the fact that you do allocate resources based on the crime happening in the areas, correct?
So if you look at Laurel had 40-some vehicles broken into, this is the city of Laurel. They had 40-some vehicles broken into, I can't believe it was last night or the night before. It might have been last night.
Wow.
Just all in one night. So when you hear stuff about that, what I'll do is I will either ask for volunteers to upstaff a certain night and have them pay attention to basically the parking lots along the Baltimore corridor, because that's what a lot of times they'll hit, where there's a lot of vehicles. They can get in there and do as much damage as possible. So we're always looking at current trends. So I think, but as a general rule, that's how I do the staffing: is the 2 during the week, let's say, and the 3 per shift during the weekends.
Okay.
Hope that helps out.
Thank you. Very helpful. Sorry,
welcome. Thank
I'll
you.
stop there. I'm sure my council members may have other questions.
No, I'm fine. Thank you.
I just have a quick one. So let me get this right. ACE Coletti. I was just
DC.
DC, sorry. Okay. I could call you Ace Coletti, right? I'm sorry. So we had an incident in College Park Woods where one of our residents contacted their PG County Council member about speeding on St. Andrew's Place, and I was wondering if there was any like way that that we could like show this resident, like, because I actually went with I don't know what his official title is, Officer Weinkauf, and when I first went on council, and like I held the radar gun, I went out with him, and people were not going like 60 and 50 miles an hour on St. Andrews. They were going 35 and 40. So I was wondering, is there any way to like have like some kind of information that I could send to this resident so that he could be at peace about the fact that, you know, people are not going, it looks like people are going really that fast, but very few are. I mean, I saw somebody this morning going pretty fast, but it's not happening like it's not an epidemic of that. So is there any way of getting a hold of any kind of data that I could possibly show him and show now that the PG County Council member is in the loops, show to them that we are trying. I know that you have your officers out here pulling people over, and Steve Halpern has made the roads narrower. We have speed bumps, we have stop signs, we have that camera that says you're going over 25. So, is there any way I could show him some data? Because he seems very anxious and he's, he's really worried that people are going 60 miles an hour on St. Andrews.
I don't have any current data. Sometimes what we'll do is based on a complaint, I send the officers out. I ask them to run radar for a certain period of time for so many days a week. And then what they do is they'll give me the average speed. So they'll say like 20 vehicles came through over a 2 hour period and the top speed was 28 miles an hour. I can do something like that. But
Yeah.
but the only problem with that is this. I'm sure there's probably one person who speeds during that 24-hour time period. And which is we have to be there at the right time to catch them. And you know how that goes, where, sometimes we could be there and sometimes we can't be there because nobody never knows when this person or persons are going to be going over the excessive speed. But we are out there a lot on St. Andrews.
I know you are. I know you are.
Yeah. So, I could ask somebody to do that, but it's kind of like,
Yeah, it's
it's
okay.
not,
It was
it-
just an idea.
Well,
Yeah, no,
won't you recommend if the resident can do a ride along?
yeah. So I was going to say, if they want to ride along one night that John
That's an
Wancoop is
idea.
working, if they feel comfortable riding with us, I'll
He's an
have them
older
ride with
man.
John Wancoop,
Mhm.
and he can explain how the radar works, et cetera, et cetera. And he'll actually sit out there with the individual, and they can actually see the speed of the cars coming in and out.
I'll ask him, and
Sure.
he's just really anxious about that.
Listen,
Um,
I understand that because, ever since COVID, the driving practices of everybody is kind of crazy, but
it is
yeah,
crazy.
unfortunately. But
It it is really crazy. Yeah,
and
that
then
was it for me. Thank you so much.
you're welcome. And then another thing I suggest is maybe we can move one of the city VMS boards to St. Andrews and just put a post up there, something about excessive speed or, you know, police operation ahead, radar or
Mhm.
something like
Yeah,
that, slow down or something like that. We can do
Yeah.
that possibly.
yeah.
That might
definitely.
be effective. I don't know. I don't know why people want to drive so fast on St. Andrews because there's all kinds of curves and stop signs and speed bumps, but they like to go fast. So, but I know they're not going 60 miles an hour because, like you said, I did a ride along, and I held the gun, the radar gun, and they were going like the fastest person was going like 40. So, well, thank you. I just wanted to, since there was nobody else on, I thought I'd ask. Um, so, and I've got this now. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Yeah, Councilmember Mackey, the title of Mr. Wynkoop is Sergeant Wynkoop.
Okay, Sergeant. Okay, I will try to remember that. I don't, I want to be, respective of their titles and make sure, because he's always very respectful to me. So I want to also do that. Thank you.
Mr. Young, do you have any questions of ADC Kalari?
I do not. I actually just want to say thank you to ADC Coletti and our contract officers and the Prince George's County police officers who work so hard keeping our community safe here in College Park. And just for the great job you do. Oftentimes we forget to say thank you for what you all do. So I just want to say thank you on behalf of the residents of College Park.
Yes, thank you very much. I'm going to sign off. It's been a long day. Thank you so much. I will see some of you tomorrow night and have a blessed evening. Thank you.
Thank you.
as
Thank
well.
you. ADC Clary, I also want to thank you and your team for responsiveness and effectively dealing with all the things that come across your officers, daily routine and patrols. I appreciate you and your team going into the specific patrol requests that have been done in the recent past. And I'm really very appreciative of the timeliness and the effectiveness of your officers and teams in general. Sharon, do you think there is anybody else? I didn't see anything on my side of things here. So if anybody has like Mayor Pro Tem Mitchell, I don't think I gave you specific opportunity, but this is the last call if you had any
Oh.
questions.
No, and congratulations to Division Chief, Assistant Division Chief Kaladi. Congratulations, is well deserved. And again, just thank you for what you do. I know many times I call you and I can be a pain in the little tush, but it's just because I love my residents. But I do appreciate what all of you do, and it is police week. And again, just thank you and tell your staff that we appreciate them.
Well, I definitely appreciate it, but I also appreciate the strong working relationship that we all have together. I think that makes the biggest difference. So when you have a good group of people and everybody
Yes.
basically has the same goal in mind, I think it works out very well. So it's a good team effort. It really is.
We need to package this role model. We need to package this and go on the road and talk about this, because everyone else is struggling with the budget of how they're going to deal with the police force. It's like, we got contract police. Just come to College Park. We can show you how.
Just to answer your question, sir, Councilmember Hernandez had logged in as Councilmember Mackey was logging out. He was here for a moment and then he dropped, so I want to give him a minute to see if he's coming back in before we close.
Definitely, we should wait for a couple of minutes.
I'm going to sign off. Everyone have a good evening.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm going to sign up as well. I'm so sorry. I hope Councilman Jacob Fernandez will fill us in as a replacement. Sorry about that. Yeah, I'll watch the recorded video once it's available. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. So while we are waiting on Jacob Hernandez to see if he is able to sign in, David, do you have any things on your mind? David Spalding?
No, sir. I'm just sitting here taking it all in. I've had a long day.
Kenny or Jatinda, do you guys have, do either of you have Councilmember Hernandez's phone number that you could
I
double check?
do. I do, but I don't think he's coming in. He wasn't even
Okay.
sure he was going to make it in at all.
Okay, because he did pop up and I admitted.
Yeah, I would go ahead and close.
Yeah,
Okay,
I
great.
think
Thank
so
you.
too. Yeah. Everybody have a great evening.
Sounds
Good
good.
night.
Thank you. Have a good
Thank
night.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.